Oop. Sorry about that. I had to readjust the camera. It keeps falling down. Hey, collective, what's happening? What's shaking? It's Sunday, so we're going to go ahead and have an entire week. I practice this as being the first day of the week. Okay, I think that the Sabbath that's written about in the Hebrew and the Old Testament and everything else that was to be honored, the Sabbath day is, I believe, Saturday. I think Sunday is the first day of the week, as I understood it from all my earlier studies. So, and I follow that as a form of respect and everything else, okay? Because regardless of whether you think this is strictly just energy and there's no actual personality behind it, or you truly believe in your ancestors, the angels, you believe in God, maybe an extraterrestrial presence, I understand all of those things. I do. In fact, I believe I have all of those things, including spirit animals around me as well. I also like to speak to, sometimes, the Fae. You know, I know it sounds crazy, but it's no crazier than speaking to any other invisible entity, no matter the religious belief system, or even giving homage to them. You can't see them. I believe at one time they existed, in whatever name they actually took in reality. I do believe that history has been, I'm just going to say, tampered with, and that's a very mild way of putting it in my personal belief. But that's for another video on another day. I want to say hello, and we're going to go ahead and get right into the energy for the week. I'm going to be pulling only the runes for this, and then I'm going to do another Sunday pull immediately after I post this one. I'm going to try to keep the videos a little shorter, so hopefully a little bit less with the tirades. You know, I'll save those for the movies that I plan on making in the future, sharing a lot of information. All right, so I've already did my prayers, my meditation, my invocations. So we're ready to go ahead and do this now. So first thing we're gonna do is pull for the overall energy of the week. Now, last week it was Gibo, the gifting rune. So that's tremendously good rune to have for weekly energy. Let's see what we get today. So I might get the overall energy for the week. The overall energy for the week for my collective. And thank you. Overall energy for the week. Thank you. Well, that's not good. All right. So this is Wunyo, but Wunyo's in reverse. So it, like Gibo, is actually one of the wishing runes. Okay, but this one is found, well, actually, just like Gibo, in the first Ayat group or family. And what it means basically in reverse is dissatisfaction, misery, fear, impatience, sorrow, impossible possession. Okay? Yes, they do talk about this. I mean, they had their own demons that they worried about. I mean, if you've ever seen, for example, the Game of Thrones, you've got a basic or for that matter, Lord of the Rings. That's all based around the Norse belief system, at least loosely. But Gandalf could have been the wizard form of Odin, for an example, you know? And he's the gray magician or wizard, gray wizard. I think it is. Or is it white wizard? I don't know. I haven't seen those movies in so long. But anyways, he was the good guy, you know? Unlike Solomon, who ended up jumping ship, being the traitor, and so on. I guess every one of us had one of those. I took a great deal of interest in the life of, many of the leaders that we talk about, whether we're talking about Christ, whether we're talking about, and I've looked at not everything. Nobody can say that's boastful. I've looked at a lot of things from all sides that I can find, including a lifetime that he spent, or a good portion of his life, maybe in places like India. Some even believe the bones of him and Mary Magdalene may be buried in Kashmir, but it's under Muslim control, so they don't have access like they once did to those remains, for those who are aware of it. But even some of the Hindu writings do speak about this person that they were greatly taken with because of his essence, his spirit. Okay, and you're talking about in a world that gave us both Hinduism and Buddhism. So I mean, the Indians are very, very spiritual people. And it's a place that I hope to visit in this life that I have yet to. I've been all around it, but I haven't been in India itself. So, I hope to visit it someday in the many, many temples and see what kind of secrets they may unveil to me. But other places too. I want to go to, and it's very amazing. I know I'm getting off on a tangent, but the pure granite production, where they literally supposedly cut out of one solid piece entire buildings, huge, elaborate, astronomically aligned, and geometrically nearly perfect after all the weathering and everything else that's affected them. Now they try to write it within the conventional history, and it's all bullshit. The historic timeline is bullshit. I'm just going to leave it at that. It is. It's all bullshit. So if you want to find out real history, look at the Mavericks that go out there and break status quo, not afraid to accept whatever it is that they truly find and see for themselves, instead of reading out of some book and expecting to follow that belief system. All right. Feel like something's crawling on me. Sorry. Probably ants. They're all over this place. That's why you can't meditate under a tree, man. Within seconds, you're covered in ants. It's crazy. All right, so again, dissatisfaction, misery, fear, impatience, sorrow, and possible possession. These are all attributes for this week. So it looks like collective, it's going to come down hard on us this week, possibly. So we got to buckle down, got to tighten down the friggin' hatch, that kind of a thing. We got to, improvise, adapt, and overcome, as the Marines say. And for me, when I hear that, it's like, first thing that comes to my mind is one of our mottos where it says, what our mission statement is to seek out, close with, and destroy the enemy through, coordinated firepower, blah, 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 and just aggressive will, I don't remember the exact words. It's been 35, almost 40 years, but it's pretty much still ingrained in me. That's the way I feel about this fight. I'm the rebel side of, if you will, the occupation of the light. I know that someone's going to say rebellion is like the sin of witchcraft. Again, you can't go by just what, the words of a single book actually say. You can say that they are reflective of, a spiritual power, yes. But if you don't look at things in their entirety, you're missing a lot. And I don't mean just by a single source. Don't use circular reasoning to convince yourself of anything. Prove yourself worthy by going out and doing as much research with all the available knowledge that exists out there. And yes, it takes a lot of effort. But again, unless you search for truth like you would for buried treasure, you're never going to find any, right? And even then, it's not guaranteed that you'll find it, but there's a much more likely possibility that you certainly will. And that's going to put you in the Neo position in this particular matrix that we all live in. Okay? And that's what we all need to strive for. That's what I strive for each and every single day. Not a day goes by I don't try to learn. All right, now, Wunyo being the overall energy of the week is not a good way to start out. So let's see what the energy is for Sunday, all in all. What is Sunday's energy? What is the energy for today? Collect for us. Spirit, and thank you. All right, well, Yera. Yera's a good rune. Okay. Now, Yera basically talks about the harvesting, okay? The fruits of your earlier labors. God, I can't even speak today. I really haven't slept much in 45 days. I mean, it's true. But anyway, Yera basically speaks about getting the fruits of your earlier labor. So whatever you invested in, you may not even remember this effort. And it could have been, days, weeks, months. It could have been many years and even decades in some people's cases, where you put some type of effort into something and that had actually taken root. The seed grew somehow, some way, and you're going to get the fruits of that labor here very soon. So that's a good energy in contradiction to the overall energy, which doesn't mean that we're not going to have a lot of hurdles. That's life, right? This coming energy is telling us it's going to be a very rough one, though. So we have to batten down the hatches. We've been getting this pre-warning for the last, 4 weeks prior to this week. So I see it escalating. I see it getting more intense. So we're getting closer to the end of a cycle, guys. Remember it as such. That'll help you to get through to the other side, no matter how shitty it gets. And believe me, it's been tough for me. So, I do pray for you guys as well. I pray that labor will be quickly removed from you and you can move on to a fresh, new cycle with the rewards that come with the successful implementation of the skills that you learned in this one. KNAS. It's hard to read because I had to scratch it into this blank stone, but it's this right here. This is KNAS, okay? Now, KNAS means many things, including, again, the burning flame or torch, which, as always, in almost every culture, speaks about, in some way, the light bulb over your head or whatever. Knowledge. Getting knowledge. Wisdom. Gnosis. Okay? And that's what we're all supposed to see. What else does KNAS mean? Well, it means like burning an ulcer. It could indicate something of that nature in a physical sense. Remember, these have multi-dimensional meanings. All of these things do. They touch on all 4 elements that are still talked about today. Fire, earth, air, and water. They leave out the ether. But that is still an element, regardless of what our so-called modern science has told us. We may maybe think of it in terms that are different than others because they haven't developed the means to measure it yet in terms of an instrument because they don't even want to understand it. It's the spiritual implications behind it. They're not going to get the funding for anything like that with the Rockefeller owned and controlled, academia. It's just not going to happen. So these people have to get their own funding to sheer will and everything else. And Nikola Tesla is a perfect example of that. Again, I'm getting off on a tangent, so I digress. I apologize. I apologize. Let's go ahead and get into Monday's energy. Anyways, Yara is a good rune for today. So apply it, wait, and hope. What is it that you want? What is it you want to manifest? What is it you desire most? It's not like being a genie or anything like that. That's not necessarily the way the spirit works. You have to be also aligned with it as far as your resonance, vibration, and your frequency. If you're not in the resonance to receive wealth, you can't expect wealth to manifest for you. You have to be in resonance and you have to be equally yoked, if you will, using a Christian metaphor, rhetoric, if you wish to receive. So keep that in mind and think that you are worthy because you are. If you're embarking on this, remember, this is a school. This is like an advanced, we're talking about getting your doctorate's degree in spirituality in this world. Okay? So you don't have to agree. You don't even have to understand. But if you look at it from that perspective, at the very minimum, it will help to empower you to get through whatever struggle you're going through. Okay? All right, so Monday's energy and thank you. Monday's energy. All right, well, we have another god. This is the god Freyr. Freyr is the brother of the goddess Freya, remember, who is married to Odin and taught him magic. He's a fertility god himself, as it's been rumored that Freya and Freyr were also lovers. I hate to give the wrong mythology, but I've heard that from more than one source. So I don't remember reading that in one of my books, but it may have been in there. So, I mean, I've read a lot of different books, so sometimes it's hard to remember who's who, what's what. But that is the representation of the god who's been, reasonably absent the last couple of weeks, whereas the other 4 gods, Tyr, Odin, Thor, Freya, and I said Thor, I said Tyr, I said Odin, I said Freya, that's the 4th. So that's the 4 other gods. Those 4 showed up for us last week alone. 2 in the upright, 2 in the reverse. So, but this one, I definitely believe is in the upright. Again, Ingwas is one of those 9 runes that cannot be flipped over one way or the other. So you go with your first gut instinct. And even though we got a negative energy overall for the week, my first instinct was a positive one. So that's the god Freyr. And as I said, fertility god, so he's got a big you-know-what for everybody. And very masculine, very, sexual. So all forms of all forms of fertility are also mentioned from the masculine perspective, and ancestry as well. Okay, so there's a lot to be said about that as a room, especially if you're trying to produce a child today and so on. And we're all under attack today, and they've been attacking us for decades. We're just now starting to catch on. You got the permanent, chemicals and plastics in our water, which are destroying the masculine, physiology left and right. And of course, the pharmaceutical industry is flourishing as a result of what they've done to us. So, and yes, there's so much proof. I mean, they have entire lawsuits simultaneously going on over these matters. So it's definitely not a conspiracy theory. It's a truth. That's why so many people are dependent on those blue pills and other things before engaging in sexuality. So I refused. I didn't even get the damn shot. So I haven't even been to a doctor in over 20-something years. Been taking care of myself. Continue to do so. Tuesday's energy, please. We're off to a good start. 2 positive runes. Okay, Tuesday, please. Thank you. Well, we got the mighty Gibo again. That's another very positive rune. And yes, I do believe it to be in the upright. It's not just because I'm an optimist. If you listen to my tirades, you know that I could be misconstrued as either being crazy or being, at the very least, very pessimistic about things. But I'm not. I'm optimistic in the overall energy of the 144,000. And whether that number is accurate or not, I digress again. I just say that there's a lot of us that we're out here and being activated, okay? You can say it's the second wave. We're basically coming in strong. We got children today that are being born, call them indigos and what have you, that are doing amazing, amazing things, very young ages. And there was a wave that first came in the 60s. Before that, that was my generation. So there's still quite a few of us out here, even though we've been hunted all of these years. You too, if you were embarking on this journey, I don't want to make you paranoid or anything like that. I truly don't, but you need to be aware, because I wasn't aware either. I just knew that no matter all my greatest efforts, no matter how kind, no matter how giving, no matter how I tried to do good wherever I could, I still screwed up sometimes. I was still young. I was out there exploring like everybody else. I'm not denying that. But when somebody needed something, it didn't matter to me who they were, what they involved themselves in. I always tried to help them. I had to learn the hard way that there are lines in the sand. And some people are out there who are psychic vampires. They literally take advantage of people like us. So these are part of the lessons I had to learn in this lifetime. Okay? And it's not an easy lesson if you're empathic. You want to help everybody. You want to help the world. You want to change the world. You want to help the stray animals, and those who are being abused and hunted down without any legitimacy whatsoever, even from a Darwinic point of view, except just to prove that you're better. I mean, again, the golden rule doesn't just apply between you and I. It applies to everything that has existed. That's why we were given the mandate to be, the overlords, if you will, of this planet, to look over it. What have we done to it? What are we doing to the other inhabitants? I'm getting off on yet another tirade, but you can see how passionate I am on a large scale of things. Okay, so again, I digress. Wednesday energy. I'm going to be digressing left and right today, it seems. All right, Wednesday energy. Apologies, just the rantings and the ravings of a shaman. It was, and it's in the upright. Very good. So far, excellent energy per day. We're going to find out something pretty bad is going to happen on a very specific day, it looks like, this week. So what does Ewas mean? Again, we're talking about partnerships. We're talking about, we're talking about a horse and his rider. They have to be in unison. The rider has to know when to stand up on those bridles, you know, so he doesn't end up wrecking himself. You know what I'm saying? And or like two horses pulling a carriage, they have to be in unison, or it's a very rough, you know, carriage ride, let's just say. So it's partnerships of any two groups or any two groupings of people or man and animal, it doesn't matter. Two forces that are not the same working in conjunction with one another. That's what it means, okay? All right, so it means partnerships, trust, loyalty, cooperation, as well as motion and progress and things of that nature. So that's what Ewas means. So again, once again, very good energy. So let me get Thursday's energy, please. And I get accurate energy for this coming Thursday for my collective, whenever it is that they've watched this. All right, this one is Manas, but it's in the reverse. All right, so Manas in reverse. Now, typically, Manas in the upright, the letter M in their alphabet, stands for man, mankind, humanity, the self, things of that nature. But when it's in the reverse, as this one was, it means selfishness, uninvolved, having a victim mentality. Narcissists are like that. Egoism, again, narcissist. Of being alone, feeling depressed, and being a manipulator or being manipulated. The form of manipulation is apparent here. And again, with overall weekly of Wunyo being in the reverse and the possibility of possession, there may be some dark entities that are attached to somebody that's coming in. So we see that this hardship may in fact actually be starting for us on the Thursday of the week that you watch this, okay? Whatever week you're watching this, on that Thursday, presumably. Now, I don't know how that works, you know, as far as the flow of fate and time and everything else. If it will actually be on the same thing, another Thursday on another time period. But it felt right to say that, so. And I trust my intuition, okay? Sometimes I don't use it, or I don't use it quickly enough. I ponder too much, the analytical getting in, you know, a competition with the spiritual. Or your higher self. I'll leave it at that. I know Jung would have perhaps a different way of looking at it, but I believe they're both the same means to the same ends. Or different means to the same ends, is what I meant to say. One being analytical and very brilliant, and the other being very spiritual and necessary. All right, so Friday energy, please. I'm wrenching it again, aren't I? All right, Friday. Just humor me. I listen to you guys, whatever you tell me. If you want to tell me about some kind of rant or what have you, I'll listen to you. Thurs. This is the letter N in their alphabet. Okay? Now, Thurs basically stands for the needs and necessities, as well as constraints and restrictions, needing patience and having to overcome whatever conflict that's guaranteed to come your way. So we see that it looks like Thursday's where this is all going to start, and they're cautioning us on Friday as well and telling us that we have what we need as far as the tools go. We just have to remind ourselves of what the issue actually is. It's really not something out there. It's something in here, okay? That's basically what it's telling us. All right, so let me get the final energy for the week, for this new week, and that'll be for Saturday. Did we overcome whatever that obstacle was on Saturday? Is it still lingering over to the following week? What's the energy for next Saturday, please? And thank you. Well, so Willow, and again, this is one of the 9, so I still feel that it's in the upright, though. And if I had any inkling at all that it wouldn't be, I would have felt some tinge of guilt, too, as I said that, and I don't. So it is. It's in the upright. And again, it's a very powerful rune. It's like the Sun card in the tarot deck. It's probably the most, well, it is. It's looked at as all the writings that I've read on the subject anyway as being the most, optimistic or the brightest of the, tarot cards. And it means similar things. The life force that it represents, victory, power, attack, enlightenment, and honor. If you want the good things in this world and you're patient, you will be given those good things. Now, I know I stand right now at a point where I don't have anything in terms of evidence to show you that except my belief. But as it happens, you will be blessed because I did this in advance. Because it is going to happen for me. And I believe it will happen for many of you out there too. I don't know about the cross watchers. It seems you've made your decisions, sold your souls, did the whole 9 yards. And I know not everybody out there believes those kinds of things happen, but they indeed absolutely still do. I mean, the whole industry, entertainment industry, is riddled with it. And they do their rituals or whatever else, many of these stars, so that they can become famous. They have to offer up some type of a sacrifice. And there's evidence literally throughout the entire internet that you can read and you can actually watch in terms of documentaries to show you these things. Even the lead investigator in the Federal Bureau of Intelligence, who dealt with ritual murders and stuff like that, said there's more Satanists, if you will, practicing in this country than perhaps anywhere else. And it's just a reality. And we see things like Epstein Island and everything else. Yeah, even though it's got the earmarks of the dark side of Hebrew mysticism involved in all this, as well as those who have taken over or hide behind the umbrella of Judaism. We call those, of course, Zionists. They're the ones that operate the government of Israel right now, committing genocide in broad daylight for everyone in the world to see. And here in America, we support them. They steal money, extort it from you as a taxpayer, and give billions of dollars every year to Israel. That's right, even though they are committing genocide. Does that not, by virtue, make us complicit in what they're doing as far as war crimes? We're arming them. We're aiding and abetting them. We've committed actual spiritual treason in this country by giving into these lies. And again, you have to understand the media, the government, literally, the entertainment world, everything is owned and operated by these megalomaniacs. And until you wake up to that, you're trapped in the illusion. It's like the metaphor in The Matrix, where they talk about the woman in the red skirt, right? You are distracted by all that crap they put out there, and bam, when you turn back around, you're back in self-awareness, you got a pistol to your forehead, kind of a thing. Okay? That's the distractions that are put out there. That's why the demiurge, the archons, demons, the jinn, whoever, whatever you want to call them, have basically taken control of the world's infrastructure. It's up to us to do something about it. We can pray about it all day long, but they're not going to do anything and without us making the effort. They move through our efforts. We just make the first step. The universe catches us. It backs us up. It makes it happen, but you have to make a move. Okay? And the other people, they just expect by getting on their knees, that's all they have to do, and then something miraculous is going to change for them. They've done nothing except getting off and offering a few words. If you have the ability to do something and that's all you're willing to put in, are you serious? Are you serious about what you're doing? I mean, I think that the person's heart can be weighed once again on their fruits and what they're talking, what they actually do versus what they say. We see that literally in every religion, don't we? I mean, Krishna certainly said that. Read the Bhagavad Gita, you'll see it for yourself. He taught his best disciple, Arjuna, lots of lessons in the heat of the Mahabharata, the greatest or most epic battle that presumably ever took place, where they talk about nuclear weapons and, flying ships and the whole litany of things, very, very deeply described in this epic. And yes, I own it. It's one of the few prized possessions, as well as many other, spiritual books and technical books that I managed to save during my last destructive test. It's literally brought me down at the bottom so that God could exalt me and bring me back up. Because I didn't and won't give in, and I continue to do what I'm here to do each and every day. And this is not the only thing I'm here to do. I'm here to edify, to teach, to help, and to heal with my words. That's my life purpose. And the enemy knows that. And they've known it long before I ever discovered this on my own. So I've been attacked literally since I was young. Okay? I have a story. I'm going to be talking about it more and more, but not right here, not right now. We have the overall energy right now for Sunday. We're right at 30 minutes. I'm going to end it there. And thank you so much for humoring me. Tell me what you guys think about these little tirades. I know I get off on the deep end, but I truly believe when I'm doing it that I'm restraining myself, because there's so much I want to say. There's so much I feel compelled to share, and I know I can't do it just in a 30-minute stream. So write to me what you guys think and feel. I'm curious and I want to hear. So if you want to speak, I'm not going to judge you, I guarantee you. If anything, I may, share a disagreement with an explanation as to why I disagree, or an agreement as to why I agree. But I'll always try to give you something to go on other than just how I feel about something. Although there's nothing wrong with trusting your gut and what you feel, okay? When you're building your intuition, sometimes those two things kind of get in the way. I mean, you can't really tell which one's which. The feelings that you get that could be there because of, childhood lessons and things of that nature, accepting certain levels of morality from those around you that were there that supposedly are supposed to teach you and bring you up, I don't think that's something that any of us should be doing, in the sense that telling them how to think. We should be teaching a child from his earliest days how to think, not what to think. And then give them all the information, let them decide what it is they believe. That's how you develop your intuition. And that's really what teaching is. It will stay with that person. But supposedly digesting a bunch of so-called facts and then having to regurgitate it back, so that you can get at least a C on that test, so that you can move to the next level, presumably, meaning you've become more educated. Is that education? I mean, what if everything that they've told you is a lie, but you're being forced to memorize it and regurgitate it back just so you're allowed to move forward? Isn't that a form of control? And that's exactly what's happening. Again, damn it. You see what I mean? I'm passionate. That's just who I am. So, if you love me or hate me, this is what you're stuck with while you're watching me, until you get so tired of me, either break your TV or computer screen, phone, or get on board and say, "Go, dude, go! Get him!" Because not everybody is willing to get in there in the middle of a fray, right? But I can still use your energy. I can still use your energy in the form of support. And by that, yes, your prayers, okay? Again, I haven't monetized this or anything. I'm doing this out of obedience. I'm not doing this, at least as of yet, to make anything from it. I know the worker is worthy of his wages. I understand that, and I believe that too. I just know in terms of spirituality, mixing money with spirituality almost always, and we can see that again and again with the hypocrites that we can see, everywhere today. They end up following one over the other. And it seems more often than not, at least that which is shared with us, it's the dark side that usually wins. So it's not that I'm afraid to be tempted. I've been tempted in every level. So, and I can send the demons packing. Sometimes I say, well, there's nothing wrong with me practicing or doing a little bit of this or a little bit of that. I'm in control of it. It's not controlling me. I'm not doing this on a regular basis. And, especially when we're talking about being with somebody that you love and you want to get not just romantic, but you want to get a little steamy and so on. Is there anything at all wrong with that? Some would say very much so. It becomes, instead of an act of procreation, it's now an act of lust. I don't think that at all. I think passion is something that is shared between two people that have a similar heart, a similar love for one another, respect for one another. I mean, you can learn these things through, acts like Tantra. And that's becoming more popular today. It's not satanic, it's not Luciferian or any of those types of things. It's simply a master of your mind, a master of your body, and being intimate and giving equally, reciprocity with your loved one. So I don't know it yet. I'd love to learn it, honestly. I would. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, you guys are going to end up hating me. Well, that's it for today. I'll go ahead and I'll do a Sunday pull. I've taken a short break. And I'll do the tarot and the oracle cards to go along with all of that. Maybe the sun has baked my mind. I don't know. I've been out here so long. No sleep. So I'm starting to talk to the squirrels. Seriously, I'm talking to the squirrels. Anyway, it's all good. You guys have a great, rest of this Sunday. And again, like I said, I'll try to get another video posted here soon too, okay? Till then, stay victorious, and I'll see you all in Valhalla.